after a function. Gotta walk through fire for what's important. And the warrior's blood through your veins is coursing.
He goes outside. He's got Ledford with him. Chris Blassie is going to win it at the line here at Daytona.
Every move, take your shot, don't be a fool. All you got and all you ever need is one bullet in the chamber. Ready to take your aim. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? One bullet in the chamber. Ready to take your aim, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Now the whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't make the fool. All you got and all you ever
He's
need.
going to drive up into him. Can Kuntz hang on to it off the corner? Kuntz gets it.
It's one bullet in the chamber. Ready to take your aim, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna
Drivers
do?
side by side, coming out of turn 4. Rapp with the 52 on the outside, the 99 to the inside. Rapp's going to win it at Auto Club.
So what you gonna do?
If it's Tuesday, that means it's the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance from Slingshot Racing League. Welcome everybody, I'm Ellis Thomas alongside Chris Smith in the booth tonight. We're bringing you live racing action in the NASCAR trucks from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 150 presented by Evan Pienta Designs. Nestled in the heartland of America, Indy stands as a coliseum of speed, a shrine where the echoes of roaring engines reverberate through racing history, making it the racing capital of the world. Long having been an entrepreneur and businessman, a man named Fisher took his vision to 3 colleagues. Together, the 4 men invested $250,000 into what would soon be Indiana's pride and joy, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. While Carl G. Fisher first began dreaming of this track in 1905, its construction finished in 1909, 3 million bricks later. As the years unfolded, the Brickyard witnessed the triumphs and tribulations of racing legends. Names like A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti, as well as Gordon and Earnhardt echo through its corridors, each etching their indelible mark in the Speedway's rich history. The infamous Yard of Bricks at the start-finish line serves as a mosaic of victories and defeats, a testament to the relentless pursuit of speed and glory that every driver dreams of achieving here. Tonight, one driver will kiss the virtual bricks at the end of the race, a tradition ironically enough started by NASCAR driver Dale Jarrett in 1996. To do so, they're going to have to make 60 near-perfect laps as the margin for error remains minute, and one missed corner can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Chris, in case you didn't know, Indy has served as a test track for various automotive innovations, including the development of the first ever passenger car airbag back in 1971. Drivers are going to be looking to innovate out on the track tonight because every inch of your corner entry matters here. We talked about this in pre-race. Miss one and say goodbye to your spot on the track. What are drivers going to have to do to correctly tonight if they're going to achieve the perfection that this track requires?
We're going to talk about how line sensitive this track is all night tonight. You have to hit your marks, especially in these trucks, which are down on horsepower a little bit compared to maybe some other vehicles that have raced around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So you're going to have to hit your marks so that you can maximize all the speed that you can possibly get on these long straightaways. Tonight, very, very technical track, very difficult track to hit your marks every single time. We've got 60 laps here tonight, about 30 laps on the tank of fuel, so if this thing goes green to the end, it's going to make for a very interesting storyline there as well. At least one stop is expected. 31 trucks here tonight, and some high tire degradation.
All right, back here in Speedway, Indiana, here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Slingshot Racing League. Brickyard 150 presented by Evan Pienta Designs. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined in the booth by Chris Smith tonight. Qualifying is over. We're getting ready for a quick little warm-up. Drivers meeting right now with their race director to go over some last-minute details. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but we are back, which means we've got some pre-race stories to talk about, Chris. What stories are we going to be keeping an eye on tonight? Looks like the first one is a points battle that is incredibly tight coming in tonight. 3 races left in the regular season, including tonight's race here at Indianapolis. 12 drivers are going to make the chase. That's it. And if you're outside of the 12, you are officially out of the playoffs. You've still got some stuff to fight for, which we'll talk about later on in the season. But you can see how incredibly tight that points battle is right now between the drivers at the top, but also the bubble battle at the back, the battle to get into the top 12. We've got just about 13 points separating 6 or 7 trucks, 11th all the way back to 16th, Chris. So this is shaping up to be one of the closest championship battles we've had. But I think this bubble battle that we're going to see at Daytona, the regular season finale, is going to produce some incredible racing.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. And, you know, we've been talking about it all season. There's going to be a past slingshot winner, like a really, really, solid driver who does not make it into this championship 12, I think. I mean, you just look, Wesley Pistol, Scott Tompkins, Evan Pienta right there on the bubble. Those are all slingshot winners. Patrick Colby. They're all slingshot winners, and so, all of them are in danger of not making it.
Yeah, there are going to be some drivers who are definitely upset coming out of Daytona, I would imagine. Speaking of upset drivers, last week at Bristol was an intense race, probably more cautions and collisions than we would have preferred, but that's Bristol rubbing his racing, as they say. Tonight, looking to see if drivers can kind of cool down, if the tempers maybe have subsided just a little bit after Bristol. I don't think we have any grudges carrying over, but it's definitely going to be something. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset tonight. Much more finesse and kind of a different way involved here navigating around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And speaking of passing cars, that's going to be a hot topic tonight, Chris.
Yep. You
got to pick where to pass wisely. What are drivers going to be looking for to make those passes over the course of the race?
Well, I think it really goes hand in hand with that fourth story that you see right there, hitting your marks. You just have to be very, very aware of, like where you decide to try to make those passes. Because with the way that these straightaways are, you can see right here this long front straightaway. We're looking from the spotter stand, or actually from the flagman stand right here. You can get draft past very, very quickly if you cannot complete a pass. And so you have to decide where you want to try to make that pass. I think the best place to do it is on corner exit than on corner entry here when drivers trying to turn down for those corners.
How does that play a role in terms of managing your tires tonight? Is there a preferred kind of strategy for drivers? What are they going to be worried about? Is it going to be the right front or the right rear in terms of what drivers are going to lose first, probably?
Definitely going to be worried about the right front tonight. That right front tire really gives up over the course of a long run here at Indy, especially because a lot of drivers will overdrive these corners. These long straightaways, flat corners, they're very easy to overdrive, and so that's going to be the one that people are going to try, or probably going to be burning up, and so you want to try to look after that and keep it there at the end of the run.
All right, man. Well, speaking about the end of the run, to get there, we got to have the start of the run. We've got to have the start of the race, which brings us to the Evan Pienta Designs starting grid and the EPD Designs Pole Award winner tonight. Someone you talked to in pre-race said they didn't think they were going to be that fast. Aaron Smith, your current points leader in the series. Chris, he's going to be strong tonight starting on that pole. With it, he gets an entry into the Evan Pienta Designs Pole Award contest. Driver with the most poles at the end of the season gets a free paint scheme design. We're also giving one of those away to a lucky driver randomly who starts the race tonight. On his outside, Nick Luccia, Chris. He finished third last season at Indy. He's going to be fast tonight. He won last time we saw him out on the track this season. We'll see if he can repeat tonight with his second race. Scottie Sobczak, he's been fast. We're going to be watching him. He's starting in third position. To his outside is truck number 51, Randy Bechdel, looking for win number 2 on the season, sitting second in points. Justin Wilson, you said he was fast in that practice race, Chris. Can we expect to see him be fast tonight?
Yeah, I expect him to be very, very fast. He always gets around this track really well, so I suspect that he'll be up near the front tonight.
Starting 6th, Jacob Bradley. 7th, Chase Berry. To his outside, Rye Jones. 9th is payday driver Johnny Rapp. 10th, Dan Rowe in that number 68. In the 11 spot, number 92 machine, Josh Ward. Evan Pienta starting 12th in that 55. Scott Tompkins starting 25th. Jacob Chase, good starting spot, 14th tonight on the field. Wesley Pistol going to be starting 15th in that number 94. Ryan Hinkle starting 16th in the number 99. Sean Johnson 17th. 18th is Patrick Colby. We've seen him with some speed in practice. Not the best qualifying lap. Thomas Coonan starting 19th. Jay Leach had a difficult time at Bristol last week. He's going to be starting 20th, looking to rebound. Brandon Waldrop looking for some good luck tonight, starting 21st. Cordell Lofgren, 22nd. 23rd is Lee Campbell. Jay Haishman, 24th. Danforth in the 88 starts 25th. Raymond Hanneman, 26th. Tony Caputo starting 27th in the number 7. Nick DeCesare in that Taylor Swift machine starting 28th in the 00. Matt Scherf, don't believe he qualified. Patrick O'Toole will be running 30th, starting 30th tonight. Paul Thomas will be starting 31st. Last car in the field tonight. Chris, getting ready for a green flag here in just half a lap or so. Any last thoughts for drivers before that pace car peels off?
Let's just survive this first lap. Very narrow track. A lot of things can go wrong. Wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see a first lap crash, but hopefully we can make it through there.
Hopefully we can make it through there. I know that's what Aaron Smith and Nick Lucci are thinking. Smith runs shotgun on the field. He takes the green flag. We are underway here from Indianapolis for the Evan Pienta Designs 150 at the Brickyard. Smith, head of steam, headed down into 1. He got the inside. Meanwhile, it's a fight for second between Scottie Sobczak and Nick Lucci, who's looking to the outside. Sobczak on the inside. We've seen him be fast here every time we run at Indy. He continues to prove that by running second now in the field. Lucci back to third. Randy Bechdel fourth. Justin Wilson is fifth. Top 5 almost as they start, including 6th, Jacob Bradley. First fight I see back there going on right now between Dan Rowe and Chase Berry. Rowe gets by Berry, it looks like. Berry already back a couple of spots. Top 10 single file, Chris. Josh Ward looking underneath Evan Pienta all the way back there. This is a battle for the 11th position. It's going to quickly get sorted out, I think. A little dicey there for a moment.
Yes, we got Justin Wilson looking to the side, but gets right back in line.
Yeah, I'm seeing that from a lot of drivers. Look at those cars go by those bricks, Chris. Seeing that from a lot of drivers kind of poking a nose, maybe being a little bit curious, and that, kind of plays back to what we talked about with having to set up these passes, Chris. It's got to pick the right place to pass. And part of that involves getting a run off the corner. We see Scottie Sobczak got a real good run off of turn 2. He's going to try to channel it into a pass for the lead down into turn 3 as they decelerate down from those high speeds. Sobczak in the number 81 machine to the point. He is your new leader here. Lap number 2, Sobczak to the point, 81 P1.
Yeah, and if you're Aaron Smith right there, Scottie Sobczak looking to the inside, there's not really much that you can do. I mean, you don't really have a choice. You can either back off and get in line, or you can stay on the outside and fight a losing battle and probably give up a lot of right front tire in the process.
And we had mentioned that is going to be one of the challenges. This is a long race, and let's go ahead and talk about, as we watch some of the fastest laps of the race being run right now, let's talk about fuel mileage. We talked to drivers in pre-race, and they shared with us, Chris, what's it looking like on a tank of fuel?
About 30 laps, and if you look at the amount of laps that we have here in this race, 60 laps. If I'm a driver right now and I'm in line, I'm in this draft, I'm thinking about maybe saving just maybe a lap. A lap would be all I need, as we got Josh Ward looking to the inside of Johnny Rapp here. This is a battle for the 10th position. There's a couple of drivers that we've seen battle it out for a championship in the truck series here in Slingshot Racing League. So they're trying to grab that last spot right there in the top 10. Ward's going to fall back in line. Johnny Rapp was able to hold him off.
Yeah, Johnny Rapp finished 10th here last season. We've seen him win races at Indianapolis. He's got some pretty good toes here at Indy as we watch him drive down into turn 1. Pull up to the back bumper of Chase Berry, his teammate, that number 46. But, yeah, you mentioned it, passing, setting up those passes is going to be critical. 30 laps on fuel tonight. This could turn into a fuel mileage race, Chris. It's got a green flag look. I hesitate to say that. We're only on lap 4 of 60, just about a 15th of the way through the race. If you're a math person, I'm definitely not. But it could set up. There could be drivers, if we were to go green, as we watch Josh Ward try to make that pass on Johnny Rapp back here for the 10th position. There could be drivers who try to go the distance on one stop. It definitely risk versus reward. Drivers are going to be weighing that risk versus reward, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw someone contemplate that as maybe they get a better feel for what this race is going to look like. There's a battle going on right behind these guys. Wesley Pistol and Evan Pienta. Pistol ducks to the inside in that bright orange and white machine. Pienta hangs to the outside. Is he going to try to ride with Pistol? We do have a caution on the track. I'm trying to figure out who that was.
Cordell Lofgren, maybe. Cordell Lofgren right here. It turns, looks like this is turn 1. Nick DeCesare also involved. We'll go back and we can see possibly what occurred between these two. All right, so went back just a little bit too far right here, but we've got
a big decel by the 83, and I just don't think DeCesare was prepared for. I think what happened right in front of him, Patrick O'Toole checked up a little bit, Chris. Yep. And Cordell kind of followed suit, and the 00 just was not ready for that.
So we'll watch this from the chopper cam. It looks like to me Patrick O'Toole is really close to the rear bumper of Brandon Waldrop. Paul got a little bit squirrely right there. He backed off, and Cordell sort of reacted to that, backed off, and Nick DeCesare just couldn't get backed off in time and unfortunately got into the back of him.
Man, they heard us talking about fuel mileage. That's going to end the question of whether or not we're going to have any crazy strategies, at least on making it a one-stop race. I think we still could see some interesting strategies develop over the course of this. Yeah, but that was an incident in which Patrick O'Toole did everything he probably should have. Cordell also generally did what he should have. Maybe got on the brakes a little bit hard, but, checking up for a fellow driver.
Cautious.
That's one of the things we've talked about. We've asked drivers, don't put each other in a bad position. And that was just an incident of where the 00 might not have been ready for that. So it happens. He's been given the EOL. He'll go to the back, get those issues repaired on his car. But I'm wondering if we're going to see a pit stop here as we watch Scottie Sobczak lead the field around with Aaron Smith second and Nick Lucci third.
I doubt we'll see a pit stop here. I think that what we're going to see is that this will get drivers past that point. Like if they were a little bit close on fuel, this caution right here is going to put them in a good enough spot. So I think that we'll see them stay out until they have to pit. I think that we'll see them stay out until they have to make that pit stop. And see Justin Wilson looking like he's coming to pit road. I don't think he's actually going to come to pit road. Of course.
He was getting a little smart with everybody. We got a couple people.
Chase Berry, Johnny Rapp. Of course, they're going to do something a little bit different because they're just a little bit different themselves. I'm just kidding. They're not afraid to do a little bit different pit strategy. So looks like Patrick Colby is going to do that as well. I'm not surprised to see the 9 come down pit road right here. Patrick Colby. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, that was Patrick Colby. I'm sorry. We got 2 Alabama trucks in the field tonight, so I know. Yeah, I gotta be really careful. But Patrick Colby, you mentioned it, Ellis. He was really fast in practice, and I'm a little bit surprised to see him take just fuel only here. I would think that maybe he would want to do something radically different because he's really fast, but I think he just had a bad qualifying run and put him in the back of the field. But Johnny Rapp, Chase Berry, they're going to take tires here, and I think they feel good and comfortable about taking tires because I think most everybody else is thinking that this is going to be a one-stop race here tonight.
I think that is the mentality. Hey, speaking of one stop, we've got to make a quick pit stop. We've got to hear from our partners at Evan Pienta Designs, as well as Apex Energy. So we're going to go ahead and take a moment to hear from our partners who make all this possible, help put up these races for you viewers, and we'll be back in just a jiff.
Are you looking for high-quality, affordable sim racing paint schemes and graphics? Then look no further than Evan at Evan Pienta Designs. Driven by speed, Evan Pienta Designs offers a multitude of sim racing graphics, from liveries to social media graphics to team and series logos. To see some of the work done by Evan, or even race one of the public liveries he's made, head on over to tradingpaints.com and search Evan Pienta.
All right, back here. Drivers headed down the back straightaway here. Lap 8 of 60 in the books at the Brickyard 150 for the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance. Chris, interesting strategy here. Scottie Sobczak, who's been good on the inside all night, is electing for the outside position on this restart. He's going to be starting from the lead. Aaron Smith going to be second. What do you make of that decision? What's Scottie thinking here?
I think we're going to see the teammate restart here. Scottie Sobczak and Aaron Smith, teammates at placeholder racing. I think we're going to see the teammate restart here where one of them does not get hung out on the outside. Aaron Smith will breathe the throttle a little bit once they get going, and he will let Scottie Sobczak in line. Now, Scottie Sobczak, as the leader, does have control of this field also, so if he gets a good enough jump, it won't even matter.
It won't matter. Pace car peels off for the first restart of the night. Sobczak on the outside is going to lead him down. He gets a nice little jump. Green flag is out. He's going to clear the 70 of Aaron Smith, who shoots into second place. Both of those cars single file. The battle really right now for third. Randy Bechdel, that car on the outside. Meanwhile, Lucci in the 19 truck on the inside. It's 2x2 for 4th through 7th right now. Lucci's got the advantage on Bechdel. Wilson gets the advantage on Bradley. Wilson's going to try to take advantage of Randy Bechdel, losing out on third position. He's going to try to cost him one more position. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. It looks like Randy Bechdel's going to win that battle. He'll sit in 4th. Justin Wilson will slide back. But meanwhile, Rye Jones forcing the issue underneath Jacob Bradley, also his teammate. Jones has to lift out the throttle just a little bit as he slides up the track. That settles things out single file really all the way through 13th position, Chris. Right now, everyone kind of minding their P's and Q's, looking a little bit further back in the field, seeing some battles going on between Ryan Hinkle and Jacob Chase. That's all the way back in 15th position. Those drivers putting on a real good duel right now, headed down into one. You can see side by side. That 43 of Chase drives it in really hard on the outside. He's going to make it stick. Has to let off the throttle a little bit. Gets the better run than Hinkle. Lee Campbell back there as well as Jay Leach and Raymond Hanneman in 19th, Chris. Drivers right now doing a solid job of staying out of trouble, but I'm looking at Aaron Smith going back up the lead with Nick Lucci, and they're not letting each other get away from the lead.
Now, with this truck and with it punching such a big hole in the air, just the massive amount of drag, aero drag that it has, I suspect that we'll see trucks really close to each other all night. If we get a long run, we could see some separation because there are a lot of guys who are really, really good at saving tire here. And this track being as line sensitive as it is, we'll start to see some separation, but I think we'll see like pack separation. I think we'll see a pack of maybe 3 or 4 here, 2 or 3 there. I think that's sort of like how the night's going to go.
Nice little battle going on here back in 21st position. Patrick Colby and Johnny Rapp on those fresh tires. Actually, we mentioned Patrick Colby not on fresh tires. Rapp and 52 on fresh tires. Working their way through the field right now, leaving kind of that pack of 4 right behind them, Chris. One thing I do want to mention is right now, appreciate all the viewers joining in. Just looking through the list, we've got Don, we appreciate you. Stu Vinman, John Rapp, Joe Stankovitz, Brendan Garvey, Matty Campbell, Mark Lucci. All y'all, we appreciate you joining in the chat. Let us know who you're rooting for tonight. We got a trivia question coming up your way in just a few minutes, so stick with us. And we'll also going to be giving away a diecast here shortly. All you have to do to win that Brad Keselowski diecast is simply let us know you're here in the chat. Say hi, let us know who you're rooting for, make a comment. All commenters in the chat will get entered in to win that 164th diecast.
And we have Ryan Hinkle and Jacob Chase right here. This battle just won't go away. They're continuing to fight right here for the 15th and 16th position. Lee Campbell looking on right here. Yeah, right behind them. Here comes Johnny Rapp on those fresh tires.
Yeah, he goes right underneath Jay Leach. He's going to try to get underneath of the 85 of Raymond Hanneman. This is for 18th position. Very close. I think Hanneman got out a little gas, a little bit more than Leach was anticipating. Meanwhile, that battle for the 18th position continues through that corner as they're getting ready to head back down onto the front straightaway. It's going to be Rapp underneath the 85 of Raymond Hanneman. Looks like the 85, Chris, got a pretty good run off the outside line there. It's going to drag Rapp down the front straightaway and have the advantage headed down into one, at least for the moment.
Yeah, and that's just, the effects of the draft with these, these big boxy trucks right there. everybody's lined up on the outside up against the wall, and Raymond Hanneman can get that draft, even though Johnny Rapp is on pressure tires a little bit quicker right now because of that. You know, that's kind of what makes this a little bit frustrating. You gotta sort of check your emotions at the door. You know, when you're trying to make a pass on the inside on a track like this, these long straightaways. But Rapp does complete the pass, and he's going to set his sights right now on Lee Campbell just ahead in the 17th position.
Got another little battle going on. Jay Leach on the wall a little bit, right behind them in the 20th position. Patrick Colby and him have kind of been going back and forth for the past lap or so. You see Colby's going to get the better of that battle going underneath Jay Leach. It's going to also open the door for Chase Berry and Jay Heishman if he wants to take advantage of that loss of momentum for the driver, the number 22, Jay Leach, who started off in the 20th position, now back to 22nd, looking to lose another position and go back to 23rd with that pass by Jay Heishman, who's worked his way up a couple of positions over the course of this race. So right now, just re-racking them at the front. Scottie Sobczak is your leader here on lap number 14 of 60, almost a quarter of the way through the race. This one's moving pretty fast, Chris. Aaron Smith also moving fast. Top three haven't let each other get away from each other. Right now, those cars about a car length separating. You can watch the onboard rear view camera of Scottie Sobczak. He's got a lot of yellow in that mirror, and that's not something that any slingshot driver wants to see as they make their way down the front straightaway, getting ready to head back down into one. You mentioned that pack separation because right now there's 3 cars on top of each other for the lead, but I can count about 10 car lengths back. You've got Randy Bechdel, Justin Wilson, Jacob Radley, and a few car lengths back from that. You've got Rye Jones back in 7th, and you've got kind of a pack of about 10 trucks riding right now through turn number 2.
Scott Tompkins makes a little bit of contact with, I think that was Josh Ward. We're going to go back here and see if we can see this. That was really close right here. Oh, yeah, he slid a little bit. He kind of missed his mark right there in turn 2. Slid up into Ward. Makes a little bit of contact. No harm, no foul, and they keep on going.
Thank goodness. And we see now Wesley Pistol and Scott Tompkins almost have a similar problem. Tompkins having kind of a couple of scary moments here on the track. 2 corners in a row, but he's going to save it, hang on to it, live to fight another day here on lap number 15.
Thomas Coonan and Sean Johnson hard in the wall.
Crash down the front straightaway. Big crash. Going to see what happened there between the 32.
Man, that was almost a lot worse than what it needed to be, but everybody's going to drive away right here. Yeah, we'll go back and we can see what happened right here between the 86 and the 32. These guys were running around. It looks like we were already a little bit out of shape right there. So, yeah, we'll go back and... Oh, man, this started... Oh, man. We're going to have to go back really, really far because there's a lot of stuff going on here.
I was about to say, this goes on for about a full lap, or at least half a lap.
Yeah, so that's Sean Johnson on the inside. He's up the track a little bit right here. Gets into Thomas Coonan. They're door-to-door right here. Door handle to door handle. Don't know if something happened before that, but yeah, Sean Johnson's kind of missing corner entry. If I'm Thomas Coonan and nothing's happened before this, I'm a little bit frustrated. They just kept on bouncing off each other, and... Yeah, you know, sometimes there's more to the story. You don't know if maybe something happened before that, but it looks like to me Sean Johnson was having a hard time making corner entry right there on the bottom, and yeah, he just kept on sliding up into Thomas Coonan.
Yeah, that was a battle that had been going on for a few corners, Chris. So there was a little bit of history, and I sense there. I shouldn't speculate, but based on the way the 32 drove away from the crash, probably not happy about what happened there. Maybe a little bit of frustration building up over a couple of laps from both of those drivers. Here on lap number 17 of 60, second caution of the evening for an incident involving the number 86 of Thomas Coonan and the number 32 of Sean Johnson. I believe we're about to get an EOL penalty advisory from the race director. We're going to see who he's going to put that on. I see Sean Johnson keying up on the radio right now. We'll get official word on that penalty here in a moment. Right now, though, Scottie Sobczak is on point. He couldn't really care less about who's going to get the black flag for that lap number 16 incident. Chris, we are going to see live pit stops here under caution. Sobczak in the 81 is leading them down pit road. driver's going to get 4 tires here, 17 laps. They're going to be happy to get some fresh Goodyear rubber on those trucks.
Absolutely right here. We've got the pit road battle box up here, provided by Pierce Graphics. We'll see right here if Scottie Sobczak can maintain that race lead, but Aaron Smith is going to have the prime pit spot right here. He's just going to have to dump the clutch and roll, and he'll be off pit road. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he really does have the best pit spot, best pit in the house, I suppose. However, he's going to get beat by a couple of trucks. I think Lucci beat him off for second, Chris. 81 wins the race off pit road, followed by the 19. And the 70 is going to come off third, losing, I believe, a spot there to Lucci. So big turn of events. Track position is everything. Speaking of track position, wanted to update you on that lap number 16 incident. The EOL has been issued to the driver, the number 32, Sean Johnson, for that contact between him and Thomas Coonan that brought out this most recent yellow flag here in the Brickyard 150 presented by Evan Pienta Designs for Slingshot Racing League. However, we've got a couple of cars, Chris, that stayed out on track. Rapp and Barry, who came in on that previous lap number 6 pit stop, they have assumed the lead. Albeit they've got 11-lap-old tires, so that's going to be a disadvantage. But if we were to go, 7, 8, 9, 10 laps, is that an advantage if another caution were to come out on lap 30 around the halfway mark that might get them on the same cycle as everybody else?
Absolutely. That's what they're hoping for. If we go a decent amount of laps right here, that would draw everybody to pit road. They're resigned to the fact that they're probably going to lose some spots. Just the tire wear here. They're probably going to give up some spots. But Johnny and Chase are both really good on their tires too. So I bet they weren't going gangbusters through the field, earlier. So we'll see what type of tire life they have here. Even if they lose a couple spots, they're going to gain some track position out of this deal. And we've seen that all night. We've seen a lot of single file action. Track position means a lot here. In these trucks at Indianapolis.
Absolutely. Track position is everything. I do want to remind viewers, we are giving away a Brad Keselowski 1/64th scale diecast in the chat tonight. If you're watching, all you have to do is type something. Say hi. Let us know you are here. Looks like Brendan Garvey, Maddie Campbell, Mark Lucci, Don Hilbrins, Julie Super. Hi, my mother-in-law in the chat. Appreciate you watching. She said, I want a real good shout-out this week. Moki, thank you for tuning in. Half a lap from the restart, I should say. Chris, very quick trivia for the viewers at home before we get back to green flag action. We'll give the answer here shortly. But which NASCAR driver or drivers have completed all 1,100 miles of the Indy NASCAR double on Memorial Day weekend? Which driver or drivers have completed all 1,100 miles? Let us know in the chat. Give us an answer. Let us know who you think it is. We'll reveal the answer here shortly. Right now, pace car is going to peel off. It's going to be Barry on the inside. Johnny Rapp is your leader. He chooses the outside. We'll see if there's a little team strategy and teamwork here. It looks like there's going to be... They spun their tires, didn't
Barry
they?
spun the tires big time, and I think that Johnny Rapp's going to clear him anyway into turn 1. He's going to take the race lead right here and take control of this race.
And it's going to be Lucci on the outside. He's got Scottie Sobczak, who's a little bit loose there on the inside. He's going to let Lucci slip in front of him. The battle right now is Aaron Smith and Randy Bechdel. Smith trying to claw his way back up, but Randy Bechdel working that outside, Chris, to gain a little bit of an advantage. And he's got help from Scottie Sobczak and Jacob Bradley. A little bit of draft at play. Sobczak's going to jump down. That's going to offer some help to the 70 of Aaron Smith. Meanwhile, Lucci gets under Barry. Lucci's going to set his sights on the 52 of Johnny Rapp. And I know John Rapp's home watching right now his son race. We appreciate John tuning in and hope you're having a good night. John, Chase Barry.
Big
corner.
crash.
Scottie Tompkins. He comes
Daniel
big
Rowe.
Contact on the front straightaway. Pit wall. That is going to hurt. That was Dan Rowe. I believe that was some teammate-on-teammate action.
Man.
So that started with Josh Ward getting into the wall, comes down on Scott Tompkins, and that forces Dan Rowe into the wall. And that would not have been good had that been a real-life race car.
I would be really worried about the status of Dan Rowe right there. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. We'll see what happens. I think Josh Ward was up out of the groove just a little bit here. We'll go back here to the entry to turn 3 right here. It's like Scott Tompkins looking to the inside. I think Josh Ward's trying to defend that position, and it got him offline just a little bit. He's going to slide up, make some contact with the wall, get loose, come down into Scott Tompkins. Tompkins ricochets off of Dan Rowe, Patrick Colby. I think Jacob Chase also involved. And Raymond Hanneman does a nice job of avoiding it. I think that James Danforth was going down pit road. I think he thought that was a safe place to go. And I think that, unfortunately, just the ricochet and truck of Daniel Rowe caught him out right here.
That is just bad luck at its worst. That's a safe, yeah. And Rowe at that point might not have any brakes or the ability to stop that truck.
Oh, yeah.
So.
With this track being like this is like a canyon right here. I mean, like, there's just, with as fast as you're going right here and as close as the walls are inside and outside, you're going to have some ricocheting action.
Do we even want to have an onboard with Dan Rowe? Is that, Fox has been into some in-car shots lately. We might have to give a swing at that of our own to see if we can see what the driver of that 68 truck saw as he got turned down onto the pit road wall. Ugh.
We'll actually show what
heavy
the driver,
contact here.
Yeah,
we'll heavy contact on lap 22.
What the driver felt here. Yep. It's somehow these little sim drivers, they don't move as much as the real life
they don't
ones.
Move. Those safety devices and harnesses are holding them in real tight. Again, we appreciate everyone in the chat. A couple of new chatters in here. Jason Rashik, I think. Correct me on maybe how to pronounce that. But he says rip, and I could not agree more. Rip to a couple of these drivers. And again, that started, Chris, we mentioned, if you get out of the groove, if you get into that high line, you got to be ready because that car is not going to cooperate like it has on the bottom all night long. And a couple of drivers paying the price for that right now on lap 22. Wesley Pistol had some contact from that. Scottie Tompkins. I saw Patrick Colby get some pretty severe damage from that as well, Chris. So a couple of drivers. I think Koonin and the number 86 might have gotten some damage. Jacob Chase. Lots of drivers involved in that lap number 21 incident coming off of turn 4. Going to see if we have any takers on pit road right now. I don't think we do.
Yeah, we were riding on board with Jacob Chase right there. You saw his contact. We'll actually ride on board here with Patrick Colby as well to show you what he saw. Unfortunately, the Alabama Crimson Tide did not have as good of a luck here in the action that we saw in front of us here. Colby has got a good view of Daniel Rowe and the action. He goes low. Fortunately, Scott Tompkins just winds up in his lap right there. So, unfortunate turn of events.
Only so much you can do to avoid it. You mentioned a canyon. It just funnels down on the front straightaway. So, getting ready to go green here in just about half a lap. We did ask that trivia question. A couple of opportunities to get in your answer. Got a couple of Tony Stewart guesses. Again, the question, last chance to answer, was what NASCAR driver or drivers have completed all 1,100 miles of the Indy NASCAR double on Memorial Day?
Not many drivers have done the double, so you
yeah,
don't have many to choose from.
That is correct. So we'll give one more opportunity if anyone wants to throw a couple of guesses up into the chat right now. If you're watching, go ahead. Drivers working their way into turn 3, getting ready for the restart here in just a moment. Johnny Rapp's going to be your leader. I don't think he caught the caution that he wanted to. I think it came a little bit earlier than he would have hoped for. He is still scored as your leader, Chris, but that number 19 truck is fast tonight. We're going to see him be a force to be reckoned with. Johnny's going to have a hard task ahead if he's going to keep that number 19 of Nick Lucci behind him, but it's going to be Rapp, the control car. He takes the green flag here on lap number coming to 24 of 60 of the Brickyard 150 from Slingshot Racing League. Rapp clears Lucci down in the corner. Lucci's going to have his hands full with the 81 of Scottie Sobczak, who's going to fight him for second place. White truck on the inside, white and red truck on the outside of Lucci. They're going to continue to settle this. Rapp gets a little bit high and wide out of turn 2. He has to get out of the throttle. It's going to hold Lucci back, and it's going to open up the door for Scottie Sobczak in the number 81 to try to make that pass and reassume the lead headed down into turn 3. He's got some help from his teammate, the 70 of Aaron Smith, right behind him. Bradley in tow. We're going to see how this works out. It's going to be Sobczak to the lead. Aaron Smith into second. Lucci is in trouble on the outside, Chris. He's stuck behind Johnny Rapp in the 52, who's got speed, but he's just got a little bit older tires, and it's causing some issues, being a little bit slower in the corner. Lucci finally going to try to find a hole on the inside, but he's got Randy Bechdel and Rye Jones. He's still trapped on the outside.
Yep, that's just unfortunate. That's just the circumstances here of racing at Indianapolis. This is a one-lane track right here, and sometimes you can lose multiple spots even though you've got good speed on a restart.
Yeah, lots of positions. I'm looking right now. Lucci, I believe, has lost about 6, now 7 positions. Yeah. He has got to be
he made some contact with the wall.
Yeah, a little bit of contact for that number 19.
And that gets him offline.
Yeah, this is a not great turn of events if you're the driver of the number 19. I know we've got a Nick Lucci fan, at least one, in the chat right now. So hopefully if you're cheering Lucci on, let him know he can work his way back up. We got plenty of laps to do it. Chris, a couple of guesses coming in here on the trivia. We had a couple of Tony Stewarts, a Kurt Busch. We had John Andretti, Robbie Gordon, and Kurt Busch all attempted it but didn't finish. Chris, you know the correct answer for this one?
I do know the correct answer. That would be the Rushville Rocket. Tony Stewart has completed all 1,100 miles of the double.
Tony Stewart, the only driver to complete all 1,100 miles, so congrats if you got that question correct. You are a racing expert, certainly probably know more about everything than I do. But right now, Johnny Rapp and Raymond Hanneman.
Johnny made some contact. He made some more contact.
He's loose in front of the 46 of Chase Berry.
And unfortunately for Johnny and Chase, yeah, you mentioned it, Ellis, that they just did not get the caution time like they needed it.
Yeah, and right now they are paying the price. Johnny Rapp slipping back at least now to 12th after starting in the lead. That's a 12th position loss. Chase Berry not too far behind him. I believe Berry had lost a couple of spots before that last caution came out. We go back to single file racing, looking for the first battle on the track right now. Every driver's kind of sorted it out. We had a couple of cautions early. Drivers getting their sea legs underneath him here at Indianapolis. All drivers single file, but a lot of close battles going on. You can stick a card between several of these battles, including the battle for the lead, Chris. Aaron Smith has not let Scottie Sobczak out of his sight here on lap number 27, getting ready to cross over to the halfway mark in just a couple of laps. Aaron Smith, he's biding his time, saving tires. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's just riding.
I don't know. He might get a run here.
Yeah, I think he feels really, really comfortable riding behind his teammate, Scottie Sobczak. If he can get a run, I think he'll make the pass and try to take control of the race. But I think that right now he feels really, really good where he's at and the pace that he's got.
Yeah, that number 70 truck is looking good. Just looking at lap times last time by, Chris, fastest car on the track right now is the number 50. Look at that 50 of Jacob Bradley. He started back in the 6th position. He's worked his way up to 3rd. Last time by, he was 2.5 tenths faster than Aaron Smith, the next fastest car on the track, Chris. So you can see that number 50, red, black, and white, Jacob Bradley Driving School, coming into the picture just a little bit here on lap number 28. Driver number 50, last week's winner at Bristol, put on a dominating performance back in last week's Bristol race. Coming back, seeing if he can score 2 in a row and get himself back into the championship conversation, Chris. I know former Slingshot Racing League Apex Energy Series champion in the Xfinity car, but we haven't quite seen him put together that consistency and really fast speed that it takes to win a championship until last week. He's kind of picking up some momentum, so what do you think? Can he carry it on tonight?
I definitely think he can, and what I saw on corner entry right there into turn 1, it looked like that truck had a lot of rear brake in it. Like it pitched sideways on corner entry. Right on board with him right here and see if we can see the same thing, maybe possibly down here into turn 3. Yeah, maybe a little bit. He's got a nice little turn into the entry of both 1 and 3, so like the way he's looking right now. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a home race for Jacob Bradley, is it not?
Yeah, it's in theory a home race for several drivers. I know Jacob Bradley, Evan Pienta both attend school in Indy, Indiana, not too far down the road from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And so technically a home track in some capacity for both of those drivers. I know Jacob would like to go get a win at what he would consider one of his home tracks, but he's going to have to get through that 70 and number 81. They are going to be a formidable force to get by tonight, Chris. Talking about the 81 of Scottie Sobczak, I know we've got some Sobczak fans watching in the chat tonight on the broadcast. Let us know if you are tuned in, rooting for the driver, the number 81, Chris. But last season, he finished second at Indy. The season before, he won the Truck Series race at Indy. And he just moved up to third position in the championship point standings. I think we're looking at a sleeper here, not only maybe not a sleeper for the win today, but I think we're looking at the number 81 as maybe a serious championship contender kind of coming into focus here the last couple of races.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And you know, I have spent a lot of time behind Scottie Sobczak, myself and a lot of other drivers in Slingshot Racing League races here at Indianapolis. He has a real knack for getting around this track, and for being fast and being able to keep, the tires on his vehicles. I want to say that, the past the past truck race that we ran here. I think Aaron Smith tagged the wall right there off of turn 2. Scottie Sobczak dominated the last truck race that we ran at Indianapolis. I know because I was looking at his rear bumper the whole time. So he's really, really good here. I'm not surprised at all to see him leading all these laps.
Yeah, Scottie Sobczak on the point right now in the 81. If you're in the chat, let us know who you're rooting for. Remember, we are giving away a Brad Keselowski Fastenal diecast. Brad Keselowski, fun fact, maybe you know it, maybe you don't. He is a Brickyard 400 winner. Do you know what year he won it, Chris?
Oh, man, you really put me under the gun right here. It had to have been like 16, 17, maybe somewhere in there.
Try one more.
18.
You are correct. Brad Keselowski won the 2018 NASCAR Brickyard 400. You can win that diecast simply by letting us know you're here in the chat tonight. Just literally type hello in the chat. That's all you got to do. Helps us reach more viewers. And speaking of that, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, we find that a lot of our viewers are not necessarily subscribed to our channel. They don't get the live updates from the races and everything else that comes along with that. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button. Give this video a like if you like the racing, like what you're hearing right now. Helps our channel grow. It doesn't cost you a single thing, and we appreciate every single subscription. We cannot wait to bring you more races and get these drivers, some of the best on the service, out in front of more eyeballs. And your subscriptions, your thumbs up help us do that. So we appreciate that. We'll reveal the winner of that diecast later on in the race once we give everyone an opportunity to enter. I see a car coming down pit road. It's the Payday Boys, Chase Berry and Johnny Rapp hitting pit road. Their tires, Chris, could not take it anymore. 25 laps on those tires. I think they're probably definitely screaming at the crew chiefs to get them some fresh Goodyear rubber. Yeah,
I think that the strategy just didn't quite work out the way that they wanted it to, and I don't think the Delta is going to put them ahead of the leader. Let's see how all that shakes out here in just a second. I want to give a quick shout out to Thomas Coonan right now, running in the 10th position. After all that damage from that incident earlier, he made it through the crash. He kind of threaded the needle through that crash, big crash on the front stretch. He's currently running in the 10th position, and Raymond Hanneman just ahead of him, his street limit teammate right here. Both those guys having some solid top 10 runs tonight. These guys having a real good run. The 86 moved up 9 positions. His teammates moved up 17 positions. That's one of the things we've seen from the 85 and 86 all season, Chris. They start near the back, but they work their way up through the field fast. Doesn't always work out for them. Sometimes we saw it get involved in crashes. Thomas Coonan doing a really good job fighting back from that earlier incident with Sean Johnson. Came out on the better end of that. He might not come out on the better end of this battle with Ryan Hinkle. That was close. There was some contact there. Yeah, there was, and with Thomas Coonan be on the outside like that, sometimes the guy on the outside just sort of concedes the spot because you're a little bit sort of outside the groove right there. But as
very
Jay
close
Leach,
between Jamie Leach and Ryan Hinkle there.
Yeah, Jay Leach missed the bottom right there. He missed the corner. He drove in a little bit too hot right there. Does a nice job right here of making this corner, and I think Ryan Hinkle's going to get the run to clear right here on corner exit. He's going to get a little bit of a push, a little bit of an air push from Wesley Pistol down the front stretch.
Yeah, Pistol's going to take advantage of that draft and try to clear the 22 of Jay Leach as well. Headed down into the corner. Things settled out back there in 11th and 12th. I want to give a quick shout out to the drivers in 16th and 17th, Chris. Patrick Colby, Paul Thomas in the 44 and 42. Both up 12 positions on the race so far. Got top 18 runs, top 20s going for Colby and Paul Thomas, just biding their time. We saw Patrick Colby kind of on the front end of an incident on lap 2 of this race, but he's going to come back. He's got that car under on rails right now, 12 positions after starting in the 28th position. And then Paul Thomas got that Santa Fe train truck going pretty hard down the back straightaway, having a good run as well. We've seen that driver, the 42, have some more speed this season, Chris. Paul Thomas, I don't know if it's practice, I don't know if it's equipment, but that 42 is getting faster and faster each week.
Yeah, it is, and he's been really, really solid tonight and staying out of trouble. And a race where we had some big crashing occur, that can put you right up there in the top 15 before the end of the night. So a great run for Paul Thomas there in that 42 F-150.
Paul Thomas having a good run. Seeing a couple cars. Caution is on the racetrack. That is a caution, I believe, Chris, for Evan Pienta in the number 55, I believe.
I think it's Ryan
Actually,
Hinkle.
it might have been Ryan Hinkle and Thomas Coonan returning to the scene of the crime for a replay here. This is deja vu, it looks like, of what we saw earlier, headed down into turn 1. The 86 gets together with the number 19.
Yeah, so this starts all the way back here. I want to say that maybe Ryan Hinkle, this is a little bit of an early turn in right here for this corner, a little bit of low entry. Kind of gets him offline just a little bit. They make a little bit of side by side, and he just gets, it's like he just gets loose underneath Thomas Coonan and unfortunately spins it around. That is a bad break for some drivers. Oh, well, maybe not all of them. I didn't think that the Delta would put...
Jones.
I think they're going to be okay, though, Ellis. I think that those guys are actually going to be on the lead lap, and I think that you're possibly going to see them stay out here and assume the race lead.
This is definitely a turn of strategy. We mentioned it might take some interesting kind of crazy calls to put yourself in contention tonight, but we got a couple of drivers who have done it. Under caution, lap number 37 for an incident involving the number 86 of Thomas Coonan as well as Ryan Hinkle. Both of those drivers going to walk away with no damage, but it's going to set up an interesting pit scenario here. Is we're going to see the cars who are in the lead currently cycle through the pits, and that's going to bring up a couple of cars who had already pit on that lap or the laps previous up to the lead. We watch pit stops getting ready to happen right now. Sobczak and that number white, blue, and red 81 leading the rest of the field slowly down Indianapolis Motor Speedway's narrow confines of their pit road. And Chris, we thought Aaron Smith was going to have the advantage off of pit road on that last yellow flag pit stop, but Sobczak was able to beat him out. Lucci was able to beat him out as well, so we'll see if he's able to do a better job on exiting pit road. Track position really is going to be important tonight for several of these drivers coming to the attention of their pit crews right now. We'll keep an eye on how this battle cycles out off of pit road.
Yeah, we'll have to see how everything shakes out once all these pit stops are made, but I think that Rye Jones is going to be your leader. Aaron Smith is going to be all of these drivers off of pit road right here. He will grab the race lead as it looks like Randy Bechdel is going to come off pit road. So I think that 81 of Scottie Sobczak slid through his pit stall just a little bit, and you see he spent 48 seconds on pit road. So that's a lot of positions lost for Scottie Sobczak, unfortunately.
That is a lot of positions. Hey, I'm curious if we can get a quick on board of Justin Wilson exiting pit road, because that was close between him and his teammate, I believe Jacob Bradley, coming off of pit road there. Bradley gets the spot off of pit road, but there might have been a little bit of contact on exit there.
We'll ride on board right here with Justin Wilson. Listen to him as the left side tire is right here. Dumps the clutch, goes. Yeah, like on pit road here, iRacing, the way the sim works, you can kind of drive through each other, so there's no pit road contact. So luckily everybody is good to go. And yeah, that is close. You can see how narrow that pit road is.
It is a very narrow pit road. Hey, we are about a lap. I believe the lights are off on the pace car. About a lap away from the restart. Couple of updates to give you. We're going to hit up a very quick commercial break in a second. But Chris, I told you my students were watching. They found the chat.
Oh boy!
Appreciate all my students tuning out. They're being nice. They're being nice. Very supportive. So I appreciate all of my students tuning in the chat. Thanks for shouting out, letting us know you are here. And I will see you tomorrow. Maybe there'll be a quiz. Maybe there won't be. Don't stay up too late. But speaking of staying up too late, we've got a quick ad to run. We are going to hear from Evan Pienta Designs real quick as the drivers head down the back straightaway. And we'll be right back on the other end of this break.
Are you looking for high-quality, affordable sim racing paint schemes and graphics? Then look no further than Evan at Evan Pienta Designs. Driven by speed, Evan Pienta Designs offers a multitude of sim racing graphics from liveries to social media graphics to team and series logos. To see some of the work done by Evan, or even race one of the public liveries he's made, head on over to tradingpaints.com and search Evan Pienta.
All right, back here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Slingshot Racing League drivers headed through turns 3, now into 4. Interesting restart coming up. Chase Berry, Johnny Rapp, Rye Jones, we thought their turkeys were cooked. We thought they were done. But right now, they've managed strategy to cycle onto the same tires, essentially, as the rest of the field, and they've assumed the top 3 positions. Berry is your leader. He takes the green flag here on lap number 39. Coming to lap 40, Jones to the inside underneath Rapp. Aaron Smith all the way back in 4th position watching this happen right now. This is an intense battle. Berry leads him down to 1. Rye Jones in 2nd on the inside. Johnny Rapp 3rd. Meanwhile, Aaron Smith's got a handful of Randy Bechdel to his inside. Outside, we've seen, Chris, is not the place you want to be tonight. Aaron Smith had to be really careful here. He's going to get the position on Randy Bechdel, but Nick Lucci, one of the fastest cars in the field all night. Chris, we've seen him have to work his way back up through the field, and so far, he's struggling a little bit on the outside. We saw that cost him several positions. It's what put him back in 7th or 8th position, even further back earlier in the evening. Now he's going to, this is deja vu for the driver of the number 19, Nick Lucci. He's trapped behind Johnny Rapp on the outside. That's not a place he's going to want to be. Meanwhile, he's seeing Rye Jones, Chase Berry, and Aaron Smith all kind of creep away from him slowly. Randy Bechdel now gets ahead of steam. A push from Bradley propels him into the 5th position. He's underneath Nick Lucci. Felt like we were about to have 3 wide there for a second. Bechdel gets it collected, continues to roll the inside. Bechdel in that 51, trying to work his way underneath Johnny Rapp for the 4th position. Lucci trying to hang to his outside. Meanwhile, Bradley and Wilson, Payday Racing teammates, all come into the picture in this battle for 4th position, Chris. These drivers are on top of each other. You couldn't stick a sheet of paper between them right now.
No, they're really. Oh, 3 wide right here off of turn 3.
Corner.
Can they hold it together? Johnny Rapp way up the track right there. You don't want to be up there. He's going to... Oh, man, he does tag the wall.
The wall avoids Justin Wilson and Jacob Bradley, Chris. We mentioned that outside line is no man's land. Johnny Rapp, we mentioned he was on newer tires, but he still had about 5 laps on those tires that the leaders behind him did not. Continues to slide up the track. Meanwhile, Randy Bechdel sets his sights on Nick Lucci. Further out in front of them, Chris, Rye Jones has started to pull away. He is on 6-lap-old tires, 3 laps newer than Chase Berry behind him, and then 2 laps older than Aaron Smith. So that's essentially the same mileage on those tires between the number 91 and the 70 of Aaron Smith. This is going to get interesting now with just 19 laps left in the race.
Yeah, it is. And you know, it says... You look at the numbers and you think, oh, well, he's got a little bit older tires than Aaron Smith, but really he doesn't. He came off of pit road right when the caution came out. He did not run any laps at speed right here. As here comes Smith to the inside of Chase Berry. They're on equal tires, essentially, both Jones and Smith. So, you know, Rye Jones has got a really good shot here. I mean, he's going to have to hold off one of the best in the business at Aaron Smith, but he's sitting in a really, really good position with the timing of that caution. You can think of this almost, this way this track works, kind of like Pocono, in that they're similar to road courses. You want to pit right when the caution comes out. It's a little bit different than a lot of the other ovals that we go to.
It is a little bit different, and Rye Jones worked it to perfection. And Chris, let's not talk about this like it's a shocker that Rye Jones is up here. Let's give the driver, the number 91 from Pensacola, Florida, his due. Last season, he finished 6th at Indianapolis in the Xfinity car, and he had 19 quality passes over the course of the race. So he knows how to get around here, and he's shown speed. And another stat about Rye Jones that surprised me is we watched him try to break the draft down the front straightaway, doing what the IndyCar drivers call the dragon. Rye Jones has 5 top 5 finishes in 7 races this season. So very impressive stats and a very impressive race that Jones is putting together. However, he sees more and more yellow coming into that rear view mirror. Driver number 70, Aaron Smith, in the Hank Thomas Performance Chevy Silverado, slowly creeping into the picture. He was about a 10th and a half faster that lap than Rye Jones. He's bringing Nick Lucci in the number 19 with him to form kind of a 3-car breakaway. We'll watch on board with Smith headed down into the corner.
Yeah, you see Rye Jones a little bit later to get underneath. What you want to do, I always like to try to plant my left side tires between those rumble strips and that white line as low as I can possibly go, and a little bit different philosophy right there. Of course, Rye Jones, he's trying to maintain the lead right here, so he might be driving in just a little bit harder right here. We'll sort of watch right here in turn 1. Fastest part of the track right here down into turn 1. He's up the track just a little bit. Aaron Smith down the track just a little bit. We'll have to see how this plays out over the course of the long run, and hopefully Ryan does not lose that right front tire. But he's doing a nice job of maintaining a steady wheel right here.
He gets a little bit of run off of turn 2 there. That's going to allow Lucci to continue to suck a little bit of draft. A hole in the air behind the number 70. Chris, these trucks punch a huge hole in the air, which allows the car behind to basically have less downforce, but that's less resistance, which means higher speeds, which allows Nick Lucci to creep up in the picture. You'll kind of see that go back and forth if you're watching on the broadcast right now. You'll see these drivers stick close together because of the hole that those trucks punch in the air and allow the car, or truck behind, I should say, as we watch it in full effect down the front straightaway. Aaron Smith makes the move to the outside. He's going to challenge driver number 91, Rye Jones. Rye Jones calls his bluff, continues down the inside. 70's going to have to let up, but he gets a run off the corner. They head down into turn 2. Jones has a nose ahead. He slips up, slides a little bit out of turn 2. Driver number 70 to the point. Wow. 70 is P1. This is going to open the door for Nick Lucci in the number 19. One of the fastest cars all day. Worked his way back up into the top 3. Now going for second. Jones led about 5 or 6 laps, but he's going to have to relinquish the lead to the number 70 and the number 19. Jones back to third position. Randy Bechdel going to be looking to capitalize on that loss of momentum on the number 91. He's back in fourth position. Justin Wilson in fifth and Jacob Bradley in sixth. Those are your top 6. That's kind of the breakaway chain right now. Wesley Pistol's got to be in a comfortable position in that number 94. He's got no one in front of him. He's got no one behind him. How much do you like being in that position, Chris, as a racer at this point in the race when things are beginning to heat up a little bit?
You know, a lot of times I like it, a lot of tracks and a lot of vehicles. In this one, just the draft is such a big advantage, and it just plays such a big role, like especially at a track like this, that if I am Wesley Pistol, and he's very close. I think he's like underneath that second gap. As here's Randy Bechdel making a bid for third, looking on the inside of his teammate Rye Jones, trying to complete that pass. He's got a little bit of help. He's got Justin Wilson behind him. Wilson is going to slide up. Now he's going to get back in line with Randy Bechdel as these guys are looking at the front two, sort of gap them a little bit here off of turn 4.
Yeah, they've stayed now single file, and they are watching Aaron Smith and Nick Lucci clearly right now, Chris. In this stage of the race, the final quarter of the race, lap ticking away, Aaron Smith and Nick Lucci are the class of the field. You're going to have to go through them if you're going to get this win. We got Mark Lucci in the chat. He's rooting on his son. I'm guessing Nick Lucci saying, time to go. That number 19, if you got anything left in the tank, you got 13 laps to make it happen. He's able to stick with Aaron Smith, and we will continue to watch them creep away. That time by, Chris, Nick Lucci was about 3/100ths of a second faster than Aaron Smith. So these drivers are right on top of each other. Speaking on top of each other, I can speak, I promise. Justin Wilson makes a move underneath Rye Jones for the 4th position. Jones slips back another position after leading a few laps after that restart.
I think that maybe what you're seeing out of Wright Jones is maybe just pushed a little bit too hard right there. It is important to get out front and to gain control of the race, but maybe put a little bit too much heat in that right front tire right here, and might be paying the price a little bit for it at this point of the run.
Speaking of paying the price, Chris, we've got a close battle going on for the lead, but we do have some bills to pay. We got some sponsors to give some love to make this all possible. So we're going to go side by side. We're going to hit up Hank Thomas Performance, our presenting partner for the series this season. We'll follow the action live, side by side. We'll be back after the break, everybody.
Hank Thomas Performance is a Sunoco race fuel master distributor located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Our territory covers North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, as well as the Panhandle of Florida, providing quality Sunoco race fuel to many track and dealers throughout the region. In addition to Sunoco race fuels, Hank Thomas Performance distributes high-quality methanol and at-track supplies, as well as miscellaneous gas containers and everyday products that the at-track racer wants and needs as they compete at their local asphalt and dirt ovals, plus drag strips. You can reach us at 800-848-HANK, or if you're in our area, come out and visit us at the shop.
All right, back here in Speedway, Indiana at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by, you just saw him, Hank Thomas Performance for Slingshot Racing League. Ellis Thomas joining the booth tonight by Chris Smith. We've got a great race brewing for the lead. Nick Lucci, I just have to wonder, Chris, we saw him hang with Aaron Smith for several laps there. Wondering if he's letting those tires cool down just a little bit. Is going to make another run with just 10 laps to go. Final 10 laps of the race, Aaron Smith was a little bit faster that time by. So Nick Lucci slowing down a little bit, but he's not letting Aaron Smith get away too much.
Oh, he's
here.
in the wall hard there.
The back straightaway. 19 got in the wall. That might be a symptom of just trying to push too hard. Yeah. I take back what I said about letting those tires cool down. Lucci's going to fall back into the clutches of Randy Bechdel. And that time by Chris, Randy Bechdel was running similar lap times to Aaron Smith. So we might have to keep an eye on the driver of the number 51 out of Pennsylvania, who's going for his second win of the season as he sits in third place in the points. We watch him try to make a move on Nick Lucci, who gets it kind of scooped back up and gathered back as he looks to retain that second position. But right now it's a battle. Aaron Smith about a tenth or a second and 7/10 up on this battle for second place, which is the hottest action on the track right now. I'd be curious to see Randy Bechdel's on board and kind of see the difference in approach between him and the 19 as we watch him fall into the grasp of Justin Wilson right behind him. Curious to see what Bechdel's doing a little bit differently than Nick Lucci.
So you're seeing a little bit of getting back into the throttle a little bit too soon from Nick Lucci. Also, look at the run that he has. I think there might be some damage that is some body damage affecting the straightaway speed on that 19 truck. Watch him down here in turn 4. This is the, it's a little bit, you see how he drives it just a little bit deep. That truck's sideways right there. Maybe just over driving a little bit, but I still think there might be some body damage to that 19 as here comes Randy Bechdel, going to make a bit to the inside right here. Yeah, you can see that 19 do okay through the corners, but there are issues down in the straightaway. That's going to open up the door for Justin Wilson to try to move his way into the third position underneath Nick Lucci, who wins the battle out of that corner. But Randy Bechdel now, Chris, just looking that time by, working on the pass. We're not going to get a reasonable look how hung out that number 19 was off that corner, by the way. He's just overdriving a little bit. He's just overdriving. He pushed really, really hard to try to maintain with with Aaron Smith, and he was just letting it all hang out. Nick Lucci's not racing for points. He's racing for the win, and he was doing everything he could to stick with the 70 there, but he's slipping back a little bit now. Yeah, Nick Lucci doing his best, but he's paying the price for some of that heavy wear he put on those tires in that race truck just a couple of laps ago. Randy Bechdel starting to pull away, Justin Wilson pulling away, but the guy pulling away the most right now, Aaron Smith,
over 2 seconds of a lead headed down into turn 1, now moving into turn 2. Jimmy Johnson, Chris, we got a special guest in the chat. I don't think it's that Jimmy Johnson or the other Jimmy Johnson, but it's Jimmy Johnson. He says, what happened to the number 43 of Jacob Chase? Is he really that slow to be 5 laps down? The answer is no. He was involved in a crash earlier in the race down the front straightaway that took a couple of drivers out of contention. Having a top 15 run before that, Jimmy, so hate it didn't go Jacob's way tonight, but we still appreciate you tuning in and finding out how he fared in this race. Last opportunity, folks. If you are watching, go ahead, let us know you're here in the chat. If you haven't already said, hey, we'll be giving away a Brad Keselowski number 6 Fastenal Ford Mustang diecast to a random viewer tonight in the chat. All you got to do is say, I'm here. Let us know what driver you're rooting for, or just simply say, hi. That's fine. We appreciate every one of you tuning in. If you hadn't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and mash it. Mash the thumbs up button. Show us a little bit of love. Show your favorite driver some love. Doesn't cost you a single thing. Love does not cost a single thing. Isn't that a song? If it's not, it should be. Right now, Aaron Smith is definitely singing songs of joy as he heads down the back straightaway, Chris. I don't know if anyone's got anything for that number 70 truck. He is using that Hank Thomas Performance Sunoco fuel to its fullest here, and he's got some extra left in the tank. That thing's got some juice tonight.
Yeah, Randy Bechdel's pretty fast right now. Justin Wilson's pretty fast as well, but they're just too far back, to do anything with him. Even if they, did have the speed to possibly make a pass, and that's unfortunate for them. But if you're Aaron Smith, I would take this opportunity right now just to, save a little bit of tire, take it easy. You see the right side sort of caved in a little bit. We saw him take some pretty hard contact with the wall earlier, so hasn't exactly been easy for Aaron tonight, but he has definitely gotten up on the wheel when it matters, and he's now leading this thing. Unfortunately for his placeholder racing teammates, or teammate, Scottie Sobczak. He is back there with his other teammate, Patrick Colby, but Scottie Sobczak was really fast earlier. We saw him have some trouble on pit road, though, and unfortunately he's all the way back here in the 9th position. Just haven't been able to recover from that, mistake on pit road.
Yeah, that driver out of California, Scottie Sobczak, he was a favorite heading tonight. I know we got some Sobczak fans in the chat, dominated early on. You mentioned it, track position. He lost on pit road, just couldn't regain that track position over the course of the race. I do want to give a couple shout-outs as we kind of get down to the closing laps here, Chris. Driver number 21, back in 18th position, Brandon Waldrop, having a good top 20 run. I know he'd probably be wanting to run better tonight, but he's had some bad luck this season. I'm sure he's happy probably just to get in a good finish with the race car in one piece, sitting there in 18th in that number that number 21 Alabama Crimson Tide Black Rifle Coffee Company truck, having a good run. That's a good looking paint scheme right there. Anytime you got crimson red on the truck, I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, Roll Tide. Yeah, absolutely. He's looking good out here. He's had a really solid night. Just in front of him, also, another driver's had a really solid night. Patrick O'Toole running in the 17th position. He has kept his truck straight and on the track all night, and he's currently running back in the 17th spot. Paul Thomas in 19th, having a top 20 run. Cordell Lochner rounding out the top 20. Some solid runs from a lot of drivers tonight.
Cordell fought his way back from a couple of issues he had earlier on in the race, and mentioned that 44 you saw on the track with Patrick O'Toole just a moment ago. Patrick O'Toole running a special paint scheme for his friend who suffers from Prader-Willi disease. So
some contact. Some contact right there with, looks like Raymond Hanneman. He and Evan Pienta battling for the 13th position. Hanneman tagged the wall right there, looked like on the exit of turn 1. He's going to straighten it out, though, and keep it going. Not going to lose a position right here. That Jacob Chase is not for position, so, he's going to recover, and he's going to keep on rolling.
Yeah, that, again, a symptom of just getting too high. That can happen. We mentioned it in pre-race. We mentioned it throughout the race. This is a track that requires both speed and precision. You got to hit those marks in the corner, and if you get out of the groove, you're up into no man's land, and it is a big challenge. So right now, Aaron Smith has no challengers. Obviously, a caution could come out We're just a lap and a half away from the conclusion of the Brickyard 150 here. Race number 8 on the Apex Energy Truck Series season presented by Hank Thomas Performance. 2 races left after tonight, Chris. Aaron Smith cruising to a victory, continuing to kind of cement himself in this conversation about who's going to win the championship. But again, Randy Bechdel still in it. Justin Wilson's kind of slowly creeping up into this conversation as well with this third-place run tonight. I think that does a lot of favors for his championship hopes, especially with this playoff format we've got this year. Aaron Smith wiggles it off the corner one more time down the front straightaway, one more time through turn 1. Aaron Smith continues. This is going to be his 3rd win of the season if he can hang on to it.
Got a battle for 4th right here.
And a battle for 4th position going on between Rye Jones and Nick Lucci. That was some sideways action from the driver of the number 19 as Jones works his way underneath. That's been a battle that's kind of been brewing for the past several laps, Chris.
Yeah, and Lucci's going to have a hard time right here. He's going to have to clean it up a little bit on this last lap if he wants to hold off Jacob Bradley. He's been a little bit loose, been a little bit free since he got that right rear high. It's like he's had a little bit of trouble cooling it off ever since then, but looks like he might be able to bring home a top 5. Oh, he drove it in really hard right there.
Hey, these drivers are giving it everything they got. And the driver who gave everything tonight is leading the race. They call him Hollywood. Hollywood Aaron Smith is the star tonight here at Indianapolis. He's going to claim win number 3 on the season. Aaron Smith is your winner from Indianapolis. Randy Bechdel second. Justin Wilson rounds out the podium in 3rd position. Rye Jones, Nick Lucci round out the top 5. Chris, that was a great race. We had a couple of cautions early, but we saw some amazing action on track tonight. Lots of great side-by-side racing. Lots of passes, more passes on track tonight than I expected to see. I'm curious to go back and look at the stats about that. But right now, it's all about Aaron Smith. He's your winner. And hey, speaking of winners, before we get to those post-race interviews, your winner in the chat tonight for the diecast giveaway. We're entering those names in real quick. Give me a second to draw the random winner. All right, your random winner tonight, Eli Lentz is the random winner. Eli Lentz is the random die-cast winner. We'll get that shipped out to you after the race this evening. Watching Aaron Smith do some burnouts on the track right now. That is your race winner. We're going to go ahead and hear from him in just a moment, but we're going to also hear from the other top 3 finishers, Randy Bechdel, but we're going to start with Justin Wilson here in just a moment. We're going to bring him into the booth. Let's find him here in the chat. Justin Wilson, this is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth, doing your burnout on the front stretch. You got a copy, my friend.
Well, I'm not doing no burnout, but I got the copy, boss.
You're on the front stretch, and I saw smoke, you know. So, man, 3rd place finish, I know it's not a win, but we were talking about you're slowly kind of inching your way back into the conversation for the championship. Not that you're ever fully out of it, but you're kind of getting some momentum here. Talk to us about tonight. Chris said in pre-race you were fast in that practice race on Sunday night. How did it feel out on track tonight? What makes it so difficult to get around here, and what did you struggle with tonight?
No, it was good. It's just this track's tough with the dirty air. I mean, if you're out in the clean air, I mean, you have the catbird seat. When you're caught in the traffic like we were most of the night, you're just plowing through the turns, and it burns up your tires faster than anybody else. So. We had some pit road issues that put us in the back. I think we were back to like 14th, 15th at one point. But I'm solid with the top. I'm happy with the top 3. I was able to help Randy there. We were really working together, trying to work with the draft, but it just got tough just with that dirty air.
Man, you did a good job of making the most of it, kind of working your way up. We saw some close battles off of pit road with your teammate, Jacob Bradley. I think you're probably content with not winning, but you feel good about coming out 3rd tonight?
Oh yeah. How much I displeased this track, I usually finish pretty good here, so I'm happy with the top 3. It was a good win for Aaron. He had his truck in the perfect positions all night, so hats off to him and Randy for a strong performance. I think a lot of us on payday we finished pretty good, so it was a good effort all the way around, and looking forward to next week.
You got any tracks circled on your calendar the rest of the season? If there's one that you got circled that you're looking forward to, which one is it that you think you're going to get a dub at?
If it's in the truck, none of them. I got an X on all of them. Just get this over with.
Oh, you got to be more optimistic than that.
Dover is one of my favorite tracks on iRacing, so looking forward to Dover.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing what you do there. And before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give from the booth?
Oh, man, gotta definitely thank you guys for putting the show on. The league is top-notch, as we talk about it every week. Thank the teammates. Like I said, we had a good performance, worked together all night, gave each other some room, except for the part where we were 3 wide. But
that was a close moment.
Yeah, but aside from that, it's good, clean, hard racing. And thank the guys. That was a pretty good race. A lot better than last week.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear it. Well, good job. 3rd place finish. We'll let you go celebrate that.
Hey, boy, man.
All right, so that was Justin Wilson, 3rd place finisher. Let's bring in Randy Bechdel, 2nd place finisher tonight. All
Randy
right,
Bechdel.
Randy Bechdel.
Our 2nd place finisher. This is Slingshot Booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you were up there, up in the battle, up in the fight all night. We heard your teammate, Justin Wilson, talk about, you guys sort of working together a little bit there at the end. Talk to us about how tough it was tonight to try to, get to the inside of somebody. He talked about the dirty air. Is that something that you really struggled with as well, trying to get to the inside, complete those passes?
Oh yeah, the dirty air was bad. You got so close. I don't know, maybe a truck went behind somebody and try to turn him behind him. It just felt like a boat, pretty much. Try to hit. The only way you could really pass somebody is if they or the tire and got loose, like how we got around the nuclear at the end. Although that was drove like a boat.
Yeah, it was tough, and we saw that all night. It was just drivers, that truck width, like you said, behind somebody else, and it seemed like they could get much closer. Does the lack of horsepower also, that these trucks have, they're a little bit draggier down the straightaways as well? Does that, sort of contribute as well to that? Like, you can't really open the door for a lot of mistakes from drivers as well.
Yeah, the trucks are definitely more momentum based. You gotta roll out of the entry early to get that round on the exit. So I think that's some of the reason why people couldn't get underneath it. People were just sending it deeper, hold their spots. Of course, you're getting tight. So just a combo of those things.
Well, you definitely had a good, solid night tonight. Maintained really, really good points position here. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the season? You got some tracks. I know that our playoff cut is coming up really close. You heard Justin talk about how much he's looking forward to Dover. Are you looking forward to that race as well?
I usually do pretty good at Dover. Not as good as Justin, but I'm usually pretty good there.
Well, we're looking forward.
Races in the chase will be fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how you perform in the chase. You've been on it all season, and have no doubt that you'll be on it once that starts as well. Any shout-outs that you want to give before we let you go celebrate this 2nd place finish?
I thank all the payday teammates, you and Ellis for putting on the broadcast and running the league. All the league sponsors, forgot them because I've haven't been up here for a little bit, but we got Apex, Hank Thomas. I know I'm missing a few, but like I said, it's been a while. So,
hey, yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate you doing that. That's Randy Bechdel, our 2nd place finisher tonight. Hey, Randy, go celebrate this run, bud.
Well, thank you, guys.
All right, that is Randy Bechdel, 2nd place finisher. We're going to go ahead and hear from your winner tonight. That is going to be Aaron Smith. We'll get him in the booth. Aaron Smith, drive the number 70 truck. This is Ellis and Chris up in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
I've got you.
All right, man. Win number 3 on the season. Congrats. Put on a heck of a performance tonight. I know you didn't start on the pole, but you got there pretty fast. You bide your time just a little bit, though. I know you ran behind your teammate, Scottie Sobczak. What was that kind of like? We've talked to a couple of drivers about how maybe the truck pushed a little bit in the kind of dirty air of the wake of the truck in front. Was that something you were experiencing running in 2nd, 3rd place early on in the evening?
Oh, absolutely. I think my right front was about 7 or 8% worse than Scott's there at the beginning, and unfortunately, he had his little technical issue in the pits. I think his shifter got stuck in reverse or something like that. We would have had a really good race for the win if that hadn't happened, but fortunately, I was able to get out of traffic there and stay out of that dirty air, and brought home the win.
And you did a good job. One thing I did want to ask you about is we saw at least once there was some contact with the outside wall on the exit of one of the corners. I think it was the exit of 2. Did that cause any issues for you in kind of the immediate aftermath, or what's the damage model like on this truck these days?
Oh, it's a tank. I was very fortunate to have hit the wall flat the way I did. It was only about 10 seconds of damage, and a shadow disappeared inside of the cockpit for some reason. I don't know what that was, but I certainly got lucky.
Oh, man, you did a whale of a job all season, or all night, all season long. Is there one track, we've been asking drivers, one track on the schedule for the remainder of the season, including the Chase, that you've got circled as one that you're pretty confident going into that is one of your better tracks?
Oh yeah, it's got to be Sonoma.
I wasn't going to say it, but we do have one road course left on the season. What about one track you're not looking forward to going to? You can't say Daytona, say somewhere else.
Okay, it's got to be Rockingham. The line there is always uncertain to me. It usually changes in between cars, so I don't know if it'll be the top or arcing out to the wall or something like that, but I'll probably focus on saving tires and see where that stacks me up.
All right, man. We'll be looking forward to seeing, no matter how you do at Rockingham, seeing you the rest of the season. You are the points leader, and I believe that's going to solidify your points lead at least for the next week or so. Any shout-outs for fans watching at home, anyone else, before we let you go celebrate that victory?
Yeah, as always, I'd like to thank the folks at the Slingshot Racing League for putting this show on, as well as Hank Thomas Performance, Apex Energy, Sim Racing Concepts, Evan Pienta Designs, UD Awards, Butt Kicker, and the Stage Break Podcast for their support. I'd like to thank y'all for putting on the broadcast, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it at Dover. Hopefully I'll be able to finish Dover. It's always chaotic there. I'm looking forward to it.
Man, you've got that list down better than I do. Congratulations, Aaron Smith. We're going to let you go celebrate that win, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
All right, so you heard from all 3 of the podium finishers this evening, Chris. This race delivered. I saw a lot of passing out on the track. I know we talked about dirty air. The maneuverability of these trucks was kind of uncertain at a few points. We saw a couple of crashes, drivers getting offline, causing issues for themselves and others. Everything we kind of expected going into it. Not a lot of surprises. We expected it to be a good race, expected it to be a fast race, and we kind of saw everything play out as we imagined. We even saw a little bit of pit strategy. We saw drivers like Johnny Rapp, Rye Jones, and Chase Berry kind of work their way up in the field through some alternate strategy takes, and it worked for a little bit. Maybe something to be learned there going into some of these races for other drivers who might be looking to get some track position, later on in the race. So, any last thoughts before we say adios tonight from Indianapolis, Chris?
Man, it was a little bit of a tough night of racing. Just from I try to put myself in the driver's seat for all of these races, and I always try to think about like how these drivers feel out here, on the track. And I know tonight was kind of tough on them, just from the perspective of being stuck back, behind, in the dirty air. This track it can bring out a lot of frustrations in the drivers, and I thought they did a really good job of managing those emotions. Much cleaner action than what we had last week at Bristol. Nowhere near as many cautions as what we had last week at Bristol. So a great job this week by our drivers for cleaning it up and bringing home, a lot of them bringing home solid finishes. We had 23 trucks on the lead lap at the end of this thing. Obviously we had a couple of crashes, big crash on the front stretch, but sometimes that happens here at Indy with the narrow confines of that front straightaway. So congratulations to Aaron Smith. Congratulations to our all of our top finishers tonight. And looking forward to getting back on the track next week.
Awesome, man. Well, we will be back on the on track next week for sure. I believe we're going to Dover. I've got to double check that just to make sure I'm correct.
That sounds right. Yep,
I believe so.
That will be some very, very different action next week when we get to Dover. That's going to be a very, very different type of style of racing than what you saw tonight. So Still a lot of tire wear because that track does kill tires. But we probably won't see as many trucks on the lead lap at the end next week. It seems like that track always separates the drivers a little bit, and we always wind up with a lot more trucks a lap down at the end of the night at Dover.
And it is going to be an interesting night. Until then, appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. If you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, if you hadn't hit that subscribe button, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do so now. It doesn't cost you a thing. Let us know you like what you're seeing, like what you're hearing. Let us know that you enjoy watching these racers race their guts out each week for Slingshot Racing League. We couldn't do it without the viewers. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll catch you at Dover next week, same night, same time, same channel. Till then, for Slingshot Racing League, I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith. Have a great week, everybody.